The interstate domestic violence? Yeah. Special categories of victim restitution? Yeah. Child exploitation. Interstate domestic violence? Right. And sexual assault may be eligible for the full amount of the identified victim's losses. Yes. Now, um, child exploitation. I told you I didn't want them playing football. Yes. I gave you their actual birth dates. Yep. I gave you screen prints that they were in the wrong grades. Yes. And the idea of them graduating at 19 and a half years old. Yes. Now, my son has experienced an injury. Yes. That could last the rest of his life. And you had to play them in football games and exploit them. Yep. Now, the interstate domestic violence. Interstate usually means within the state. Now, intrastate, interstate, yes. No, maybe that means outside the state, yes. Interstate domestic violence means that when your wife accuses you of domestic violence and child abuse, kidnaps your sons, yes, and goes from the United States territory of Guam to the state of Washington, yeah, and you issue a protection order while I'm in jail, that's interstate domestic violence, yes. You had to take into consideration that there was no known time that I would be able to get out of jail. Yes. Now, it should have been explained to Heidi, yes, that I had opted for diversion. And maybe somebody thought, well, we'll just make up some shit. Right. And we'll issue it anyway, thinking that there's some additional protection of having a state issued protection order. Yes, instead of the probation and the no contact provisions of the unsupervised probation. Now, I would have to say that the more effective conviction, yes, is violating of probation and being convicted, yes, of violating the restraint provisions of the no contact order. In some ways, shoo, shoo. Well, here's how stupid you are. Okay. You could have got me for violating probation and violating the no contact provisions of the personal recognizance of the unsupervised probation. Instead, you decided to do something that is really stupid. You issued your own protection order, yes, that didn't have any probation constraints. Now, let's say you'd found me guilty, my jury of my peers. What am they going to find me guilty of? Violating the restraint provisions. Now, what's going to happen to Guam? They're going to say I violated probation. Yes. How can they enforce that right now? Can the state of Washington enforce the probation conditions? Did you get a copy of the actual probation? When I called Healthy Families and explained to them, did the state understand that when you issued the protection order, that they did not have the enforceability of, well, I would have had to been tried on Guam then, wouldn't I? Yes. So Guam's going to pay $1,500 to have me sent back to Guam. Yes. To try me for violating probation. Can you? Well, did you have the jurisdiction of the probation? Interstate. See, you, well, since you, the court, yes, didn't put me on probation, can you actually find me guilty of violating probation, or would the Superior Court of Guam have to find that?